Hey guys, what's up? It's Ellie here. Arcane Studios recently announced their Arcane Outsiders program, which gives members access to a free copy of the Art of Arcane digital art book and email communications. The digital art book contains concept art from Dishonored 2, Prey, and Deathloop. Deathloop's art director Sebastien Mitton also gave some commentary about the art featured in a Bethesda.net article. We're going to be looking at a sneak peek of the concept art from Deathloop to see if we can learn a bit more about the game. I absolutely love these two posters of Colt and Juliana. I could definitely see them as a purchasable poster or pre-order bonus similar to Dishonored 2's double-sided Jessamine and Delilah posters. We can see so much clear detail which can definitely tell us a lot about their personalities and history. Sebastien described the pose of Colt to be determined and bold, whilst Juliana is cool and confident. We can really see that Colt is ready to make his next move and end the cycle. His eyes are already locked onto the next target, but he looks a little tense. I would too if I had an entire island's population out for my blood. He also has a lot of what looks like military pins and patches on his leather jacket. We've got one that looks like a lightning bolt, one that has the letters S and D on them, and one that seems to say Valco. They might have to do with his military-ish past. We know his nickname is the Captain, and that he was once the protector of Blackreef and possibly a member of the Visionaries at some point. At the moment, we can't make any connections, but I'll be looking out for any information as we go through this art. Juliana has her eyes looking right at the viewer. She is cool, calm, and collected. She doesn't seem fazed at all and is just here to have a good time. Her clothing is neat and ready for a party, but you know she's ready to fight it all out with those scars. Juliana also has a pin on her shirt. It's actually a different pin to what we have seen in the promotional pictures, where we have so far seen a boomerang looking pin. We now have what looks like a gothic iron torch kind of, with some beams of light. Though I'm not entirely sure, it could be a symbol for the Visionaries. Here are some concept weapons that I believe turned out to be the sniper rifle and pistol that both Colt and Juliana are both seen with, like the two posters we just saw. And I am actually in love with this jukebox on the right here. It is unbelievably gorgeous. We do see a branding on there that says Kongsido. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but I gave that a go, and High Fidelity. When searching Kong, I find that this is a Chinese surname as well as the name of a race and language in the Forgotten Realms, which is a campaign setting for the Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game. And I couldn't find very much of Sido, other than it could mean obsolete, rare, or intense cold in Italian. High Fidelity means faithfulness to a cause, person, or belief, perhaps referring to the consumer's faith either to the brand or government organisation. We have some Meridian branded alarm clocks on the left and what could be some sort of scanner, radar, or portable radio device which could be manufactured by a brand named Nucleus. These here look like communications devices in the form of a walkie-talkie, voice recorder, and a headset. It looks like we could be finding some voice tapes around the map to listen to and learn some context and history. The antennas could also be used to catch radio signals from Jules as we navigate through the campaign. Blackreef, where the party never ends. I'm quite excited to see what this game has in store for us in terms of music and sound. I get some electric rock and synth vibes from these cool looking instruments, which I believe are electric guitars, keyboards, and synth organs. Now, these cars look like something Tesla would have designed in the 60s, but they are pretty darn neat. The one on the left looks kind of like the Dodge Deora, which is a concept car created in the 1960s, but also the 1973 Ford Explorer pickup concept. The concept on the right, on the other hand, reminds me of the GMC Le Universal Dream Truck, which was created in the 1950s. The back of the van also looks a bit like a hearse, which is kind of creepy. The triangular logo gives me the impression that this is some sort of government or company-owned vehicle. Here we get a bit of a look at the island of Blackreef. The two images showing totally different sides to the island. Sebastien mentions how this board creates a visual juxtaposition. In one image, the cold and harsh looking environment of Blackreef looks dull, isolated, and lifeless. The island is inspired by the Faroe Islands in the North Atlantic, comprising of 18 rocky and volcanic islands with windswept mountains, luscious grasslands, and jagged coastlines. We have seen a little bit of Blackreef's environment outside of the city, and we can definitely see that inspiration. But after decades of various events and experiments, we can see that the natural environment is not as healthy and luscious as the islands that inspired it. The picture below looks a lot more open to what we've seen so far of Blackreef. Of course, this is only a concept, but I wonder if we will see such open space within the city of the game. What is particularly interesting here is the poster on the left. Aeon is clearly seen on this poster along with the triangular logo we saw earlier, confirming that the previous concept car did in fact belong to a particular organisation. The question is Aeon a thing or was it a concept name? I bring this up in my new trailer analysis where the end credits scene sees one difference to the one in the first trailer. The Aeon program has been changed to the Visionaries. Did they want to separate the group of targets from the organisation/program itself? Or did they change the name completely? We can also see a little booth-like building to the left of that, with the word Calero on the glass. I'm assuming that this is a name specifically, but it doesn't look like it's one of the names we have seen so far under the Visionaries. Now this laboratory concept art is amazing. This is where we probably get to see a lot of similarities between Deathloop and Prey rather than Deathloop and Dishonored. It looks like a hell of a lot of power is running through whatever that thing is. Quite possibly one of the power sources, if not the main power source, of the large circular generator, which many believe is the source of the loop. It doesn't look like it has been visited or maintained in a few years, with all the presence of rust. The next page has a little bit more of the inner workings of what could be that circular structure. This thing in the center here kind of looks like a vehicle, but it looks secured to a track, so it might be an unmanned one. The rounded metal front almost makes me think that it could be made to attract lightning to collect and store energy, maybe shooting itself outside when there is an electrical storm perhaps. Unfortunately, I can't see any standout details in terms of names or logos, but I'm definitely excited to possibly be stealthing and exploring around this cool and very vertical space. I'm sure there is a lot of lore tucked away here that we can use to learn more about the loop's origin. Here we see the iconic semicircle shaped structure looking onto the city with what looks like to be an underground hidden laboratory underneath, quite possibly the one in the images we just saw. I have to say, I'm really enjoying the interior design of this mansion. This 60s/70s retro futurism is amazingly spot on, with the use of colour, glossy reflective surfaces, bold patterns, indoor plants, various textures, and timber accents. We can also observe some technology that we've seen before hidden in plain sight, like the Laylee blue vending machine, minus the candy wording on top, from the gameplay trailer, and the cool coloured jukebox from the previous concept art. There is a clear love of music in this space when you look at the finer details, like the records on the wall, the album on the desk, guitars on the walls, and a band poster above the couch here. But in the next piece of concept art, it's kind of like we're snapping back to reality. A very twisted version of the 60s. Sure, everything we have seen so far has been beautiful, polished, and on the wow factor, but Blackreef is in a chaotic state, where death and destruction is rampant but meaningless. We begin to take a look at the citizens of Blackreef. Each citizen looks as if they are wearing a mask which gives them a fabricated, manufactured look, as if they've all lost their human individuality and emotion. And the only way to really tell people apart is by their clothing aesthetics and the colours they splash onto themselves. Each citizen has a different style, a different look to express themselves, but without being able to look at their faces, there is no connection. Is this how people lost themselves to the wildness of the party? By disconnecting themselves emotionally from one another? Sebastien Mitton mentioned how the pigments that are painted and splashed onto their bodies and clothing reflect their state of mind, whilst also creating visual variety amongst the characters. Perhaps a bit of blue and gold shows that you're calm, content, and successful. Black and/or red could signal violence, blood, dark acts that have been or are being committed. I suppose it's all up to interpretation. There was also a mention of how the hairstyles were based on the designer Vidal Sassoon, who was noted for repopularizing the close-cut geometric hairstyle called the bob cut, focusing heavily on cut and shape. Some of the other mentions were also the makeup style of Twiggy and the hairstyles of the Beatles band members, both very popular trends in the 60s. We can see how all of these masks are quite unique, but all hold the same shape. The only way to express your individuality and emotion is through abstract colours, shapes, and clothing, which is an insane but very creative concept for this dystopian world. And that's it. The art that comes from Arcane Studios never ceases to amaze me. No matter what the game, they have managed to consistently create amazing and unique environments. Playing games created by Arcane Studios is literally like traveling through time and space. I am so impressed with this art. And again, it is available as a free gift when you sign up to the Arcane Outsiders program. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!